Most health advice today is built on panic. Scroll your feed and you'll see red thumbnails shouting, "You're doing this wrong," or "Eat this or your body is doomed." It's exhausting. And here's the irony. Stress is one of the fastest ways to hold on to belly fat. When you're anxious, your body releases cortisol, a hormone that signals your system to store fat, especially around the abdomen. So let's lower the noise. This isn't about fear, it's about biology. For years, we've been told that shrinking a stubborn potbelly, what doctors call visceral fat, requires suffering, grinding, and constant restriction. But clinical research shows something surprising. Visceral fat isn't just extra weight. It's metabolically active tissue wrapped around your organs, releasing inflammatory signals into your bloodstream. That sounds dangerous, but here's the twist. Because it's so active, it's also highly responsive to the right signals. I've seen this firsthand. One of our community members, let's call him Mark, was 56 with a 38-inch waist. He tried every restrictive diet imaginable. The scale moved, his belly didn't. But once he stopped obsessing over subtracting food and started adding the right biological triggers, everything changed. Within 7 months, his waist dropped to 34 inches. His blood markers improved, some medications were discontinued. He said he felt 10 years younger. By the end of this episode, you'll understand the visceral fat protocol and why shrinking it isn't about starving yourself, but about activating the right internal switches. So let's start with the first pillar of the protocol, color. You've probably heard the advice, eat more colorful foods. One patient once joked that he followed my instructions and bought the biggest bag of Skittles he could find. But your body knows the difference between artificial color and natural pigment. When we talk about eating the rainbow, we're talking about carotenoids, the compounds that give carrots their orange, tomatoes their red, and spinach its deep green. These pigments aren't decorative, they're biological signals. In a study published in the Journal of Nutrition, participants who increased carotenoid-rich vegetables for just 8 weeks saw measurable reductions in visceral fat. Why? Because carotenoids reduce internal inflammation. And when inflammation drops, your body shifts out of defensive storage mode and back into fat-burning mode. Visceral fat, being highly metabolically active, responds quickly when the environment improves. But here's the catch. You can't add powerful signals while flooding your system with noise. If you want this to work, you have to reduce what I call the big three: added sugars, refined white flour, and industrial seed oils. These ingredients drive insulin spikes and chronic inflammation, exactly the conditions that tell your body to hold on to belly fat. Here's the simple truth. When you remove inflammatory foods and replace them with natural pigments, your metabolism can finally hear the signal to burn. This isn't about perfection, it's about clearing space. And once you've lowered the noise and increased the signals, there's one specific liquid tool that can further reduce how much fat even enters your system in the first place. And it's probably already in your kitchen. This next pillar is one of my favorites because you can start it today. And it almost feels unfair. After clearing out inflammatory noise, we introduce a simple metabolic tool, green tea. You've probably seen miracle weight loss teas online. Most are just laxatives in disguise. But when we look at real double-blind research, including a study published in the Journal of Functional Foods, we see something different. Green tea contains compounds called catechins. In that study, participants consuming around 600 milliliters of catechins daily experienced significant reductions in visceral fat. That's roughly 2 to 3 cups of high-quality matcha or sencha. Here's why it works. Your body uses an enzyme called lipase to break down dietary fat so it can be absorbed into your bloodstream. Catechins partially inhibit that enzyme. In simple terms, they reduce how much fat gets absorbed in the first place. It's not magic. It's enzymatic interference. That means your calorie deficit becomes more efficient, not because you're starving, but because less fat enters the system to begin with. And when this is combined with lower inflammation and better metabolic signaling from whole foods, visceral fat, which is highly responsive tissue, begins to shrink faster than most people expect. This isn't a miracle cure, it's a biological advantage. Most people struggle with weight loss because they feel like they're fighting hunger all day. Tools like matcha help your metabolism work smarter, reducing how much fat enters your system so your body can finally start burning what's already stored. But there's one final multiplier, and it's far more powerful than people think: movement. And before you panic, no, you don't need brutal workouts. We've been conditioned to believe that if we aren't drenched in sweat, it doesn't count. But research tells a different story. In one major study, just 2 45-minute sessions per week of moderate movement reduced visceral fat by nearly 48% in 2 months. Not HIIT, not boot camp, moderate movement. Here's how we make that realistic. We use the 10-minute rule. If 45 minutes feels overwhelming, don't focus on the peak. Focus on your shoes. Start with 10 minutes. A treadmill, a recumbent bike, a brisk walk outside. When the barrier is small, your brain doesn't resist. You show up again tomorrow. And consistency, not intensity, is what reshapes visceral fat. As you build up, your goal becomes 45 minutes, 3 times per week. How do you know if you're in the right zone? Use the talk test. If you can speak comfortably in full sentences, you're too relaxed. If you can't speak at all, you're going too hard. The sweet spot is in between. You can talk, but you're slightly winded. That's where your body shifts from burning quick sugar to targeting stored fat. Now, before you grab your walking shoes, there's one final trap: the bathroom scale. You can follow this protocol perfectly. Improve your diet, drink green tea, move consistently. And the scale may not change at first. That doesn't mean nothing is happening. Visceral fat can shrink while muscle mass increases. Your waistline changes, your energy improves, your blood markers improve. But gravity doesn't always reflect that immediately. The scale measures weight. It does not measure metabolic health. This is why clinicians are increasingly focusing on waist circumference and blood work, not just body weight. When you commit to this process, you're not just losing pounds. You're changing the chemistry of your body. And the best part, these people aren't just thinner. They are getting off their blood pressure medications. They are reversing their type 2 diabetes. They are telling their doctors, "I don't just look better, I feel years younger." Imagine waking up 3 months from now. You don't feel that heavy, sluggish fog in the morning. You walk up a flight of stairs and realize you aren't out of breath. You look at your belt and realize you've had to punch 2 new holes in it because your old size just doesn't fit anymore. That is the transformation. It's not a war against your body, it's a partnership with your biology. I want to leave you with one final thought, something to carry with you when the journey feels long. Success isn't a number on a scale that measures gravity. Success is waking up at 60 or 80 years old with more energy than you had a decade ago. It's the incredible experience of seeing your health issues vanish because you gave your body the right signals. Small changes, followed with relentless consistency, lead to big, life-changing results. You have the map. You know the big 3 to avoid, the natural rainbow to add, the green guard to protect your borders, and the 10-minute rule to get you moving. Now all that's left is to take that first step. I believe in you, the science believes in you, and your body is waiting for you to lead the way. Stay healthy, stay consistent, and I'll see you in the next episode. Before we head out, I want to make sure you have your biological toolkit ready. Let's strip away the noise and look at your cheat sheet for shrinking visceral fat. Think of this as the rhythm for your new life. 1. Eat the natural rainbow. Target the pigments nature spent thousands of years perfecting. Carrots, spinach, and deep red tomatoes. Remember, if it grew in the sun, it's a signal for your genes. If it came in a Skittles bag, it's just a distraction. Nature's color burns fat. Artificial color stores it. 2. Deploy the green guard. 2 to 3 cups of high-quality matcha or sencha tea every single day. You aren't just drinking tea. You're sending a security detail to your digestive border. Block that fat before it ever gets a passport into your bloodstream. 3. Silence the big 3. Cut the added sugar, drop the white flour, and ditch the seed oils. These aren't just bad foods. They are metabolic smoke. Clear the smoke so your body can finally hear the signals to start the fire and burn the fat. 4. Take the 10-minute walk. Forget the perfect plan and just look at your shoes. Start with 10 minutes today. Find that Goldilocks zone where you're just a little bit breathy but still in control. 10 minutes of showing up beats 2 hours of giving up every single time. 5, keep the mindset. Calmness is your fuel. Consistency is your engine. And science is your map. You don't need to be perfect to see big results. You just need to be persistent. Your body is incredibly resilient, and it is waiting for you to give it the right signals. Go take that first step. I'll be right here waiting for you in the next episode. Stay healthy, stay consistent,